So hopefully this is now in the correct place and we are on the Groundhog user group, which is great. Today's office hours session is going to be about recurring funnels and creating recurring funnels. Of course, my name is Adrian. I'm the CEO and founder of Groundhog. And I am going to be walking through this implementation with you. And if you have any questions, feel free to jump into the chat and let me know. Speaking of, why don't you go ahead and just type hello if you're on the call with me today. Write in a comment and say, hi, Adrian. I'd love to say hi back. If you have any questions throughout the session, I have these... why am I... Okay, sorry about that. If you have any questions throughout the broadcast, feel free to pop those into the chat area, and I will repeat them live and answer them for you. So if you are watching this session late or you want to watch a replay of the session at any point, you can find all of our previous office hours sessions, as well as this one, being posted to the Groundhog Academy site. That is where we post all of our office hours and any additional information that you might need regarding this office hours. So you can find that at academy.groundhog.io. Okay, and let's talk about the main topic of today, recurring funnels. So I am going to exit out of my thing here. So you're going to want to go to Groundhog, obviously, and you're going to want to start adding a new funnel. And the way that you go about doing that is clicking Funnel Templates, and we're going to choose the Start from Scratch funnel. That's the easiest one to get started with. There we go. And I see, before I continue, I see Devin and Zane are in the chat with me. Hi, Devin. Hi, Zane. Welcome to the call. If at any point anybody has any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. If you're joining the call, feel free to pop in and say hi as well. So we're going to start off with our blank funnel here, and we're going to change the name. We're just going to call this recurring funnel for the sake of simplicity. There we go. And give that an update. Next, we are going to replace our original step with a tag applied step. There we go. So we have our tag applied step, and we are going to start off our funnel with, let's just say, start recurring funnel. Not something totally imaginative, but it'll get the job done. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and save that tag. We're going to delete our applied tag step for now, and then we are going to add a remove tag step. So the first thing we have going on, we have this tag applied, and then we are immediately going to have a remove tag, and we are going to remove that start tag that we had. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make sure that we're removing that start recurring funnel tag immediately after the tag applied. And we're just going to rename this to start funnel. And we can leave that as remove tag. Okay, so we want to do some things in this recurring funnel. Let's say, for the sake of argument, we want to send a weekly recurring email to someone or to this contact. Excuse me, sorry. So we're going to add the, we need some stuff to do in this funnel. And let's say we want to send an email once a week to anybody who's in this funnel. I am going to then add my send email step. We're going to make sure that's after the remove tag step. And then I can select any whatever email that I want. I'm just going to select this one for demonstration purposes only. I'm then going to add a timer. So we want to send this email once every 7 days. So I am going to have a timer here. I'm going to put 7. I'm going to add days. and just have it run immediately because I'm not too concerned about what time of day it goes out, although you can choose to run it at a specific time of day if that's important to you. And the way that I'm going to end off this funnel is I'm going to add an additional step, and I am going to have an apply tag step at the bottom of my funnel, and I am simply going to add that original start tag that I had at the beginning. Go ahead and save everything. So here's how this works. And I am going to make this full screen just so it's easier to see and it's less cluttery. So at the beginning of my funnel, I have a start funnel benchmark, which will trigger whenever someone receives this particular tag. You can apply this tag from another funnel. You can do it manually. Any way that a contact can get a tag will trigger this funnel with this benchmark. I am immediately then going to remove the start tag. Removing the start tag will mean that we can reapply the tag at a later time. Remember, if someone has a tag and you try to apply the same tag they already have, nothing will happen. So the tag has to be first removed before you can reapply it. We are then going to send whatever email, or we want to do whatever actions that we wanted to do in the first place. This might consist of, let's say, adding additional notes, or really any actions that don't have any sort of timer associated with them we can do in that period of time. We can then have a timer which will wait a specified amount of time. You can do this with date timers. You can do this with the advanced timer as well. I'm just using the delay timer for the sake of demonstration purposes. And then we are going to apply the tag that started off the funnel. And what will happen is the contact will just loop through this funnel indefinitely, receiving those emails until they're at some point removed. So you can remove a contact from a recurring funnel by putting a benchmark at the bottom. So let's say we have an apply tag here, or sorry, we need a benchmark at the bottom. So let's say we want to remove someone from this funnel. Let's have a tag applied benchmark at the bottom. And if they, or how about we do, sorry, I'm all over the place here. Let's say we have a tag removed benchmark at the bottom, and let's say only customers are supposed to be added to this particular funnel. So let's say their customer tag is removed at any point. This will automatically suck anybody who's in this recurring sequence out of the funnel, and they won't be able to re-enter it until they get that start tag again. So they'll have it removed and they won't get it, and they won't reach the apply tag step if they're removed within the delay timer time, and they're going to get removed from the sequence and they're just going to stop receiving anything. So that is a really quick and efficient way to set up a recurring thing. So if you're doing recurring weekly reminders, super easy and effective way to set that up. I prefer to do reminders and notification emails for weekly things the old-fashioned way by just logging in and taking the 30 seconds to do a manual broadcast. That's how we do our office hours reminders, because that just gives us a little bit of flexibility in dates and timing, as well as being able to modify the content every once in a while. But if you're okay with being totally hands-off and totally hands-free, and you're not worried about the content or anything or the scheduling of it, then this is just a super easy and effective way to set up recurring funnels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this active, and I am going to just create a different email for it. So let's go ahead and just create a new email. There we go. Close. Go ahead and save that. So for anybody watching this broadcast, I am going to paste the download link for this funnel template in the chat, so you can go ahead and download this funnel template so you can play with it yourself, install it on your own site, and see how it works and test it and all of that good stuff. So go ahead and download it. Link in the chat to download this funnel. All right, so let's move on. If there are any questions about that, I'm happy to go back to it. But if anybody has any other questions related to Groundhogg, WordPress, marketing, email marketing, remote working, anything like that, I'm happy to share my experience and offer guidance and advice about that and help you overcome any roadblocks that you are currently experiencing in your business or in your implementation of Groundhogg. So feel free to jump into the chat and let me know your thoughts. So it looks like Facebook is giving me a hard time in regards to updating the comments, which is kind of a bummer. I do see a question. I see a question from Devin. Devin asks, can you explain again a bit more detail why the tag remove benchmark ends the recurring funnel? And let's go ahead and do that, Devin. So let's go back to our recurring funnel here. So we have a question. Why does the tag removed benchmark stop the funnel from recurring again? So let's say that I have this customer tag. I am a customer and I get added to this funnel via the start recurring funnel tag somewhere else in some other portion of Groundhogg, maybe another funnel. Maybe it's added manually. Maybe I click the super link. Lots of ways to get this tag. So I enter this funnel, and if at any point the customer tag is removed from my record, I am essentially pulled out of any of these actions that are currently happening. So if I'm in the delay timer action, I'm waiting in that 7-day period, which I've configured here. If at any point during that 7-day period, this tag is removed from me, I lose my customer tag, or I lose my customer status, or however you want to put it, that means that the delay timer will be skipped, and then the apply tag, which restarts the funnel, will also be skipped. And I am just going to skip these 2 steps. I'm just going to go straight to this one. And there's nothing that happens after that one. So I'm never going to receive the tag, which will restart the funnel for me. And the only way to get back into this funnel and to start receiving those reminders again is to have the start recurring funnel tag reapplied to my record. And that is how that works. Because the way that benchmarks work in Groundhogg is that if it's completed, any actions that were active or that I was at beforehand are skipped, and I am immediately brought down and pulled down to that benchmark. And then from there, I will continue to go through any of the other actions. So hopefully that answers your question, Devin. Please let me know if it does not, and I'll happy to go through it a little bit deeper. But that's pretty much the gist of it. It's just that whenever the tag removed benchmark is completed, and this is same for any benchmark. If I were to put any benchmark here, even a link click benchmark or anything else, that would skip all of these steps for me, all of these actions, and I would just go down to the bottom and nothing else would happen. I see a question from Zane. Zane says, I sent an email broadcast to 1,300 contacts this morning. Along until the last 23 remaining, they are in the waiting tab. They seem to be stuck. Yeah, so if that happens, that might be down to a hosting issue, but we have a solution for that. What you need to do is I am going to minimize this, get out of full screen here. Let's go to here. So if you ever have events that are in your queue and they just appear to be stuck and nothing you can do can get them to run, what you need to do is you just need to hit this cleanup button. So depending on your host, if it's a good host, usually this might happen on bad hosts or less efficient hosts, but sometimes the event queue process is interrupted. This might be caused by, let's say, an update or a failure or a plugin conflict. Various numbers of reasons can cause this. But if anything happens, then what you can do is you can hit this cleanup button and it will clean out the queue, because what happens is every time the event queue processes, it puts a lock on some of the events so that another iteration of the queue can't claim those events and process them, and you get duplicate processing. Not fun. But sometimes those events never get unlocked. And if that happens, again, usually caused by some sort of conflict, then the process cannot complete, and it can't run those events. Clicking the cleanup button will unlock any events that are like stale or waiting, or they're just stuck, so that they can be picked up by the event queue and it can execute them as normal. So if you have those 23 events, it probably sounds like something when ARI and that happens sometimes. Just click the cleanup button. It'll push the rest of the events through. We're working on a way to make that an automatic process so that if something comes up and cleans up the events every once in a while. We're seeing how that might work out, but just click the cleanup button and you'll be good to go. Okay, Zane? Let me know if that answers your question. I have a question from Devin again, and he asks, for the default Groundhog tags, unconfirmed, confirmed, weekly, monthly, etc., when does Groundhog apply those automatically? So here's how the opt-in status tags work. So if I go to contacts, you'll see that all along the top, I have various different opt-in statuses. Unconfirmed, confirmed, weekly, monthly, unsubscribed, spam, bounced, complained. These are all what we call opt-in statuses, and they reflect what level of compliance that a contact, or what level of confirmation a contact has gone through, or you know what, the best word is consent. What level of consent you have achieved from the contact to continue to send them marketing information or email marketing through Groundhog. And so unconfirmed is you have received no consent, or minimal consent, which is you've received their email in some way, shape, or form. Note that unconfirmed status is not representative of GDPR. It is representative of CASL, C-A-S-L, the Canadian anti-spam legislation. And you have to click a double confirmation link in order to confirm an email address. So that's what that means. Confirmed is they have confirmed their email address by clicking a link in an email that explicitly says confirm my email. Also, if you have GDPR, then it's going to be representative of that. Weekly, monthly, these are options that are available that contacts can change their status to from the email preferences page. So they can choose to receive emails monthly or weekly, depending on that. Unsubscribed, obviously they've unsubscribed. Spam, bounce, complained. Again, set in various different ways through the SES plugin and other plugins as well. So that's what opt-in statuses are. They are reflective of, can this person receive email or not, basically, is basically what these are. Now, in the settings, what we have is a method. If I go to the tags tab here, we can associate, and this is done automatically upon installation, tags to various different opt-in statuses that you have. So this makes it super easy to reference groups of people by opt-in status from any sort of tag selection. So if they are confirmed, then they receive the confirmed tag. If they're unconfirmed, they receive the unconfirmed tag. And all of these tags are just automatically applied to contacts whenever their opt-in status changes. So if I go to a broadcast email, and I want to select anybody who is unconfirmed and send them all an email, all I have to do is type in unconfirmed and receive the unconfirmed tag. And this will reference everybody in the CRM who is currently has a opt-in status of unconfirmed. So super, super, super easy. And if I look back, the question specifically is asking is, when does Groundhog apply those tags automatically? And the answer is whenever the opt-in status changes, the tags that they have will change. So if I go to a contact record, and let's go to this one. And I am going to click on general info. There is an option to manually confirm an email address, and I am going to provide a reason. because it's my email. And I go ahead and update this. Before I go ahead and update that, I just want you to observe that the current tag is unconfirmed and marketable. And I am going to update the contact to have a confirmed status. So this contact's status has been confirmed. So they are now confirmed. Their email has been confirmed. And if I go back to their segmentation, I look at their tags, I can see that the tag was replaced with the confirmed tag and the unconfirmed tag was removed. So the tags are updated whenever their opt-in status is changed. This can be done, again, manually via an import. So if you're importing a list of contacts, whenever they click the confirmation link in an email, all various ways that a contact can change their opt-in status. Obviously, if they unsubscribe or change their opt-in status via the email preferences area, another way that this can change. And the tags are always automatically changed depending on their current opt-in status. So hopefully that makes sense, Devin. It's mostly done totally and automatically, and you need not worry about anything in that department. And I see that Zane, the cleanup button worked for Zane. So I'm glad that worked out for you. Super easy. So for anybody that's coming in late, sometimes you get events that get stuck. And if there's absolutely no way that you can fix that, hit the cleanup button and it will unstuck them. And the events will be able to process normally for anybody who's coming in late for that. All right, so questions. If you have questions about Groundhog, any of our add-ons, extensions, you want a demo, you have questions about WordPress, marketing, I am here to serve for the next 10 to 20 minutes or so. Feel free to jump in and let me know what you are experiencing roadblocks with. So if you have any roadblock right now, I'd love to know what it is, and I'd love to know if there's any way that I can help. And if I don't have an answer for you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to point you in the direction to get an answer from maybe someone that I'm familiar with or another group or something that I've read. And hopefully that will be able to help you, if not myself. So please don't be shy. Just pop into the chat here and ask your question. Don't be shy. If you have a question, just go ahead and pop it in the chat. Again, it doesn't even need to be totally 100% Groundhog specific. Might just be you have a general WordPress question, or you want some marketing advice, or you want a strategy, or you need software recommendations. Whatever roadblock you're experiencing that you think you could use some help with, just go ahead and ask. And I have a question from Everett. And Everett is asking, hello, I'm new to Groundhog. I use Oxygen to build my pages. How do I set up my funnel with Groundhog? No problem. So if you're using Oxygen Builder to build your pages, that's totally fine. So the only thing you really need to know is that Oxygen does not necessarily have a Groundhog integration for their forms. And that's really the only thing. So Groundhog is mostly back-end. There's not a whole lot of front-end going on. The only front-end feature that most people will interact with is the forms and the email preferences center, and that is not related to Oxygen in any way, shape, or form. So if you are, or you want to kick off a funnel and you want to use the Oxygen form builder, I think it supports what's called an HTML form integration. And the way that works is I'm going to add a new funnel. And let's say you want to start a lead magnet download funnel. It has a few steps in there. We have our lead magnet request form, some emails going on, all that good stuff. I'm not going to focus too that on much. The only thing that matters is what's up here. So we have our short code. Now, if you weren't using Oxygen and you're just using something like vanilla WordPress, then you'd use the short code to embed the form on your site. And that's fine. But if you are using the Oxygen form builder itself, then you will need to create what's called an HTML integration with Oxygen. And for that, you want to copy the HTML embed option, which is here. And then you are going to use this HTML to embed the form with the Oxygen form builder. Hopefully that's making sense. And if you're not super familiar with that, I'm going to do a quick Google and see if I can find any documentation for Oxygen builder on that. Let's see. So I'm not seeing any easily searchable documentation for integrating HTML with the Oxygen form builder, but it's pretty straightforward, and you can reach out to their support team for more information. But just so you know, that from the web form benchmark, you can copy the HTML embed option and use that, or you can use just the regular old shortcode. You won't be able to style it through Oxygen. You need to use our web form styling extension available in the store, and you'll be able to style the form from this area. So those are some options for you, Everett, and hopefully that helps. I have a question from Michael. Michael asks, can Groundhog send back a receipt or confirmation of purchase to buyers who buy a product? So that depends. So if you are using Really Simple Payments, which is our e-commerce add-on, I think so. I'll have to double check with our developer on that one, but it should be able to send receipts. So totally fine there. If you are using WooCommerce or Easy to Downloads or a different store option, then Groundhog won't do that for you. You'll need to use whatever receipt emails that those products provide. Groundhog is going to do its thing, and we let most of the e-commerce solutions just do their thing. So if you want to configure Groundhog to send receipts and stuff, I don't really recommend it, but you'd have to basically hard code it. It's not possible to do it otherwise, unless you're using, again, our own a Really Simple Payments store add-on. That's really the only way to do it. But if you're using WooCommerce or Easy to Downloads, they send their own emails, and we let them send their own emails. We don't want to take on any of that stuff because there's a lot that goes into those. And we don't really want to mess with it too much. So hopefully that answers your question, Michael. Paul asks, how do I add a replacement code to a web page? This one is super easy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to help.groundhog.io, and I'm going to quickly type in shortcodes here. So we have a really nifty shortcode. It's called GH replacements, and you can actually also use GHR. All of our shortcodes are listed on this one page. So I am going to paste that in the chat for you guys. So the particular shortcode that we want to use in order to use replacements on a web page is the GH_replacement shortcode. So I'm going to go to a page here, just add a new one quickly. Replacements, and I am going to add a shortcode block. Go ahead and add my shortcode, preview that, and doesn't look great, particularly on this site, but there you go. It says, hi, Adrian, obviously replacing my first name with the replacement code. So just use that shortcode anywhere on your site. It's supported in any plugin or anywhere that supports shortcodes, and that is how you insert Groundhog replacements in your web pages, in your posts. Note that the information taken is dependent on contacts having the tracking cookie or being logged into your site. So I prefer to use this feature when people are logged in. I don't want to necessarily do it based on just the tracking cookie alone, simply because that it's not super secure. The tracking cookie, that is, there are a lot of ways to get that tracking cookie. For example, filling out a form gives you the tracking cookie, and anybody can fill out a form with a name and an email address that doesn't necessarily belong to you. So if you are going to be doing replacements with valuable personal information, like social insurance numbers, for example, then I would put that behind a login, and I wouldn't use it kind of willy-nilly without logging in anywhere. But if they're logged in and you have the page locked down by a login, feel free to use replacements as much as you want. That is an easy way to go about doing that. So hopefully, Paul, that answers your question. I have a question from Devin. Devin asks, people have asked about the return password, temporary password, created by WordPress recently in the group. Is there a way Groundhog can save passwords to the meta field for or a replacement code in a new account email? No. So Groundhog does not support the storing or saving of passwords at this time. There is a pending feature request for it, and we're looking at it. Mostly it's just a security thing, and it's bad practice to send passwords in emails, and we would prefer to simply send them a link to change their password. That's just that's our security consideration at this time. And we're evaluating the feature request for it, but no, it's not possible to save passwords in the contact meta, which is inherently not that secure. For example, we have the GDPR. If you have GDPR features enabled, you can download the contact customer profile, which can be emailed to them. And all that contains literally all of the metadata, and that contains the password. So if their email account is hacked for whatever reason, they can get access to that password. And obviously, if their email account is hacked, that's pretty bad. But that's just some of the considerations that we have to take into account. So hopefully that makes sense. And that's why we don't store passwords in the meta at this time. We're evaluating other ways that we can approach it, but I don't think we're going to take that on at any point anytime soon. So hopefully that answers your question, Devin. We're just not too keen on it at this time. Zane has a follow-up question. I have my contacts all with a birthday, and I'm using the birthday Groundhog plugin. However, it seems that as their birthdays come up, no birthday emails are being triggered by the birthday benchmark. By the way, these contacts were already in the funnel before the last birthday update was done so on the plugin. So do I need to retag them or something? I'm not going to be able to cover that on Office Hours, Zane. Probably best to open up a support ticket, and we'll help you out with that. For the record, the birthday benchmark should be starting a funnel. So if your birthday benchmark is not at the top of the funnel, then it's not going to work. So you might want to consider making sure that the birthday benchmark is the first one in the funnel. So that way it starts off the funnel every single time it's their birthday. If the birthday benchmark is further down in the funnel, it can't re-trigger because you can't move backwards in a funnel anymore. So make sure that your birthday benchmark is starting off the funnel. Devin, again, with another follow-up question. Are you guys looking at building more B2B solutions such as sign-in area for clients, customers, for past invoices, contracts, and stuff? And not at this time. We have had several requests for a client portal type deal. That's not really our focus at this point. We are mostly focused on the email marketing and marketing automation solutions, and not necessarily the portals and the customer and the sign-in area. We want to mostly be just back-end software. There is a solution it's called ZeroBS CRM, and they really focus on those types of solutions. You are welcome to go check out ZeroBS and see if that sort of fulfills your need for a client portal, but we're not investing currently in anything related to that. And we have a lot of other priorities before we get there. Possibly opportunity for anybody in the Groundhog community to create some kick-ass third-party extensions that solve those problems and those client portal issues. But we're not currently focused, and I'll be upfront, we're not currently focused on those solutions. We have a lot of other things to do first, and a lot of other extension upkeep and stuff before we start going into the kind of the UI front-end experience area. That may not be, the most enlightening thing to hear, but it's our current reality at this point in time. You are welcome, of course, to open a feature request to have us investigate that, although it has been requested before and is continuing to be requested, but that's just currently not where we're at in our development pace at this time. Hopefully that makes sense and you understand. All right, so it doesn't look like I have any new questions coming in, and it looks like I answered a lot of them. I actually wasn't expecting to do that many today. So thank you for everyone for participating and asking your questions, and so giving us something to talk about. We're approaching the 4 o'clock mark, so I'm going to end it. I'm sorry that we had to start late. I did have a significant number of technical issues getting on today, so I apologize for that. So before I end off, let's just talk about some additional learning resources that you can go to. So first off, you need to go to academy.groundhog.io. The replay of this office hours will be posted there. As well as there's free courses for you to take. Right now there's 2. There's the Quick Start course. So if you're brand new to the Groundhog community, that is a free course that will get you up and running with your first lead magnet download funnel in less than an hour. It's super great, and a lot of people have gone through it. We also have our Course Creators Essentials course, which is a mouthful every time I say it. And it will show you some great strategies and use cases for your LMS. If you have an LMS as part of your business, how you integrate your LMS with Groundhog to improve your retention rates and all of that good stuff. All available at Groundhog, academy.groundhog.io, again, with the replay of this office hours. If you're not too keen on doing any learning whatsoever and you just want someone to take care of it for you, then we have a certified partner directory with more than 30 certified partners in there ready and willing to speak with you, book meetings, and get you on your way to having Groundhog fully implemented for your business. And you can find that at /partner/certified partner directory. And if you feel that you have a colleague or you know someone, or if maybe a family member or a business partner that would benefit from using Groundhog, we offer 10% commissions on all of our products and all of our plans recurring yearly. And you can go to our affiliate registration area to learn more about how you can get involved with that and start potentially earning commissions and being rewarded for sharing the love, as it were. If you are not currently following us, I highly recommend you do. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Links to join us and follow us on those platforms are listed there. We publish videos and tutorials as well as office hours to our YouTube channel, updates on Twitter, and we use Facebook, obviously, for a lot of our support. So make sure that you're part of all of those platforms. If you love Groundhog, you've been loving office hours, you love our service, and you're just all in all having a great time, I would appreciate it if you left us a review on our WordPress.org repository listing. Reviews obviously allow us to grow our business, which allows us to hire more people, which means that we can build more products that you love. Every review counts. We're currently at 46. If you could help us get to 50, that would be awesome. We recently reached 1,000 users the other day, which is totally freaking awesome. So it'd be nice to get 50 reviews to just make that a nice round number as well. If you have questions beyond this office hours, and I'm sorry if I'm not able to answer your question, then feel free to post it in the Facebook group. That's what the Facebook group is for. And either myself, a team member, or one of our great community contributors will jump in and help you with your issue. You can also reach out to us at at GroundhoggWP on both Facebook and Twitter. You can reach out to us that way, and you can email us info@groundhog.io with any other more personal questions. Thank you, everybody, for spending the last 41 minutes with me. I am super appreciative, and I will see everybody next week at 10 a.m. on Tuesday for the next session of Office Hours. Thanks, and have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and hopefully you don't go insane with COVID-19 and all of that stuff. So stay sane as well. Bye-bye, everybody.